people who have had allogeneic transplant,
yes,
have had graft versus host disease, you know, say 3 or 4 years out.
yeah.
And then do you see them have growing intolerances to various things like, say, like food, or are there suppressions that cause other related things? So, was that
I have seen occasionally allergies that were not present. I have somebody who develops, I'm trying to think, you know, I have some people who have urticaria for reasons that were unclear. I have people who develop peanut allergies. It's uncommon. You then wonder, was it the donor?
Yeah.
and you know, the donor is somebody unknown. We don't even know, and it can happen. So it's not invariably true, and it's not, well, I cannot give you, it's all anecdotes, you know, but I think it can happen occasionally.
What problems does an iron overload cause?
Well, iron overload can cause mainly liver problems or heart problems. And it's something we are more aware of than before, mainly because there's two ways around that. You know, one can check for it. Some people, we simply, a year after the transplant, we start doing phlebotomies. That's actually the simple treatment. So patients have now, they're cured of their, not everybody, by the way, has iron overload, far from everybody, but I would say if we look carefully in all our, particularly in our AML patients who have undergone allo transplant, I would say 10 to 20% will have iron overload. And the way around that is one, removing blood on a monthly basis, which can be done, that's very simple, cannot be done early after transplant, but can be started a year or 2 years after the transplant and has to be continued for a year. It's not always possible for everybody for a variety of reasons. There's now 2 medications out now that can remove iron. Iron doesn't remove from the body, doesn't get removed from the body spontaneously, but there's 2 medications. One called Desferal, the other one called XJ, is the brand name in the States. Blanking now on the scientific name, but given chronically, make the iron soluble and it goes in the urine. Desferal is difficult because it has to be given IV or sub-Q, so people have a pump. XJ is difficult because it's horribly expensive. And I don't know whether it's on the market here. But do you know, Megan? Yeah. No, not available yet. And but it's something that we can do something. So it's kind of a problem that perhaps we used to neglect in the past, but that we are more and more aware of, and that we need to be aware of. There are people who have had serious, particularly liver problems, that were blamed on graft versus host disease that probably really had iron overload.
Are there any symptoms other than the fact that you've got too much iron in your blood? It doesn't cause any...
Well, no, again, some people get a little bit skin discoloration, kind of darkened skin, but mainly you see it from the tests. Heart function can be abnormal and liver function can be abnormal.
My hope is that I've been 7 years in the Besien, that I've got iron overload, hence my little episode, because I've had blood taken off today. How long will I have to do that, do you know?
How long have you been doing it then?
This is only just the second time today, last month.
My guess is about 1 year to 2 years. But usually, once it can be done, it's quite easy. How do you feel after you had that?
I felt absolutely fine till there. I felt like I was going to pass out, and maybe I had it done this afternoon, so, and maybe I didn't drink enough water afterwards.
But after the first time you felt fine.
Before that, I had no idea. It's just that I had a different blood test, and it picked it up.
Sure.
How do you feel about, I know it's specifically to my child, how do you feel about her taking estrogen?
I think that's a very difficult question. Again, you should talk with one that I'm reluctant to answer right because I cannot follow the literature well enough. There's so many hormonal. The story is the following: 10 years ago, estrogen was good for every woman, and nobody should have menopause anymore. And then a couple of studies came out that it increases the risks for colon cancer, I believe, and heart and breast cancer also. But then the hormonal preparations have changed again and are lower, and it depends on the percentage estrogen versus progestogen. I really, when I have that question, I refer patients to the gynecologist. For practical purposes, I think it may be reasonable if a woman 30 years old have menopausal symptoms. It's difficult, and it could cause serious problems of its own. Particularly osteoporosis can be a huge problem. So it's complex because the negative studies do not necessarily reflect the current medications that are around.